I died with a ruined reputation and my designs in someone else's hands. Then I woke up 5 years earlier with a chance to rewrite history. The first thing I saw was Valerie Chen's smug face on my phone screen, showcasing her new collection. The same designs she would eventually accuse me of stealing from her. The same designs that were actually mine. The same designs that would lead to my public humiliation, professional destruction, and ultimately my death. Except now, I had the chance to change everything. My heart hammers against my ribs. This isn't just a dream, it's too real, too vivid. The air in my old apartment tastes familiar, a mix of cheap coffee and the fabric softener I used to use. This is it, my second chance. And I swear this time, Valerie Chen will not win. The wind whips my hair around my face, cold and biting. It matches the chill that settled deep in my bones for the past 2 years. I'm standing on the balcony of my tiny, sterile apartment, the city lights twinkling below like a cruel mockery of the sparkle that's gone out in my life. My phone screen glows, each tap of my thumb bringing a fresh wave of nausea. Hateful comments. Thief. Hack. No talent fraud. They blur together, a chorus of condemnation that's become the soundtrack to my existence. Flashback, the glare of stage lights, the murmuring crowd. Valerie, radiant and triumphant, taking a bow as models strutted in my designs. Then the articles, the whispers turning into shouts. Mia Reynolds, promising young designer, accused of plagiarism by fashion influencer Valerie Chen. It had been 2 years since Valerie debuted her collection. 2 years since she'd taken the sketches I'd naively shown her, sketches born from my soul, and claimed them as her own. We'd been roommates then, back in fashion school. I thought we were friends. I thought she believed in my talent. Turns out, she was just waiting for the right moment to sink her perfectly manicured claws into it. Her influencer status, her millions of followers, they were an army she unleashed without a second thought. They devoured me. No one wanted to hear my side. Ellington Design House, my dream job, showed me the door. Reputational damage, they'd called it. Friends? They evaporated like morning mist. One by one, they chose her side, the side with the glitter and the fame. I scroll again. More hate. The words pierce, sharper than any needle I'd ever used. Just disappear already. The fashion world is better off without you. Maybe they're right. My grip tightens on the cold metal railing. The city stretches out, indifferent to my pain. What's the point anymore? My name is mud. My career is over. My spirit is broken. She took everything. I remember showing her those first sketches, my voice trembling with excitement. "This is it, Val," I'd said. "This is the collection that's going to make my name." She'd smiled, that wide, dazzling smile that captivated everyone. "They're incredible, Mia," she'd cooed. "You're so talented." Liar. The wind howls again, urging me on. It's a long way down, a definitive end to the nightmare. My last thought as my foot leaves the edge isn't anger or even sadness. It's a desperate, futile wish. If only I could prove the truth. If only they knew. Then, blackness. A gasp tears from my throat. My eyes fly open. I'm lying on a too-soft mattress, tangled in sheets that smell faintly of lavender. Sunlight, harsh and unwelcome, streams through a gap in unfamiliar curtains. No, wait, Dot. They are familiar, my old floral curtains from the apartment I shared with. Panic claws at me. Where am I? Is this the afterlife? Some kind of cruel, personalized hell where I'm forced to relive my failures? My hand flies to my chest. My heart is a trapped bird, beating wildly. I sit bolt upright, my head spinning. The room comes into focus. My old desk, cluttered with sketches. My worn copy of Dior by Dior. My vision board, tacked with images of runway looks and fabric swatches I'd long since forgotten. And then I see it. My phone lying on the nightstand. Not the sleek, minimalist model I'd owned before. This is my old one. The one with the cracked screen protector. With trembling fingers, I pick it up. The date stares back at me, October 17th, 2018. No, it can't be. My breath hitches. 2018, 5 years. 5 years before the balcony. 5 years before Valerie destroyed me. Is this real? Am I alive? Again? My head feels like it's stuffed with cotton. I stumble out of bed, my legs shaky. This isn't happening, I whisper, my voice hoarse. This is a dream, a very, very vivid dream. But the floorboards are solid beneath my bare feet. The air in the apartment is thick with the smell of stale coffee and something I can't quite place. Oh God, it's the cheap instant noodles Valerie used to make at 2 a.m. I rush to the small, chipped bathroom mirror. The face staring back is younger. Fewer lines around the eyes, less of that haunted, hollow look that had become my constant companion. This is Mia Reynolds, age 23, not the broken 28-year-old who took that final step. My laptop is on the desk. I flip it open, fingers fumbling with the power button. The login screen. My old password. Valerie Sucks 123. A bitter laugh escapes me. Even back then, some part of me must have known. The calendar app confirms it. October 17th, 2018. Okay, Mia, think, I mutter, pacing the small living room. If this is real, if I'm really back. My gaze lands on my sketchbook, lying open on the coffee table. The very sketchbook that held the designs. My designs, the ones Valerie would claim. Right now, they're just pencil lines on paper, innocent, untainted. Hope, fragile but fierce, flickers to life within me. I'm still working at Ellington Design House. The email inbox on my laptop confirms it. Mundane messages about fabric sourcing and upcoming team meetings. I haven't been fired yet. I haven't been publicly shamed. Valerie, what about Valerie? I grab my phone, my thumb hovering over her contact. In 2018, we were still friends. Roommates, at least. Her influencer career was just starting to take off. She wasn't the mogul she'd become. She was still just Val, the girl who borrowed my clothes and complained about her latest disastrous date. The distance between us had started to grow, her world becoming shinier, faster. But the final, irreparable break hadn't happened. This is my chance, my one chance, to protect myself, to protect my work, to make sure Valerie Chen never gets the opportunity to destroy me again. But how? In my first life, I was blindsided. I was naive. I trusted her. This time, I know what she's capable of. But knowing isn't enough. I need a plan, a real, solid plan. I remember the despair, the helplessness of trying to fight her accusations with no tangible proof beyond my word against hers, against her millions of adoring fans. It was a battle I was destined to lose. My mind races. What could I have done differently? How do designers protect their work? Copyright? Trademarks? I'd been so focused on the creative side, the business aspect had always felt like a foreign language. A language I desperately needed to learn, and fast. I open a web browser, my fingers flying across the keyboard. How to protect fashion designs. Intellectual property for designers. Article after article pops up. Legal jargon swims before my eyes. It's overwhelming. Then one headline catches my attention. Indie designer wins multi-million-dollar lawsuit against fashion giant after patenting key designs. Patenting. A light bulb goes off in my head, so bright it almost hurts. Patenting. Of course. Why hadn't I thought of that? In my first life, it seemed too complex, too expensive, something only big corporations did. I was just a young designer trying to make her mark. I never imagined I'd need that level of protection, especially not against someone I considered a friend. The article details how a small designer, much like myself, had meticulously documented her creative process and secured design patents. When a major brand released suspiciously similar items, she sued, and she won, big time. A slow smile spreads across my face. It's a start, a tangible weapon. This time, I won't just be creating beautiful things. I'll be creating an arsenal. Valerie Chen wants a fight? This time, I'll be ready for war. And this time, I'm going to make sure she's the one who goes down in flames. The taste of potential victory is sweeter than any success I'd ever imagined. Mia, oh my God, it's been ages. Valerie's voice, sickly sweet and overly enthusiastic, crackles through the phone. I force a smile, even though she can't see me. Hey, Val. Yeah, it has. How are you? Playing nice, that's step one. Reestablish contact, pretend everything is normal like we're still those fashion school besties. Inside, my stomach churns with a toxic mix of old resentment and new determination. Super busy, you know how it is. Influencer life is crazy, she gushes. Listen, I was thinking we should totally catch up, like properly. Dinner at my place, say Thursday. Her place. The apartment we used to share. The place where my original sketches had been so easily accessible. My mind flashes to the memory of her, always snooping, always a little too interested in my work. Dinner sounds great, Val, I say, my voice carefully neutral. Looking forward to it. The key is to observe, to document. Every interaction, every word, every glance. My phone is now my primary recording device, discreetly capturing our calls. My old diaries are repurposed into evidence logs. Thursday arrives. I stand outside the familiar apartment door, taking a deep breath. Showtime, Mia. Valerie flings the door open, all bright smiles and air kisses. You look amazing, she chirps, though her eyes do a quick, appraising scan of my outfit. A simple dress from a department store. Nothing that would scream up-and-coming design talent. Good. The apartment is different, more curated, more Valerie. Her burgeoning collection of gifted PR products lines the shelves. Her walls are now adorned with large, artfully filtered photos of herself. Dinner is a performance. She talks endlessly about her collaborations, her follower count, the brands begging her to promote them. I nod, I smile, I ask the right questions. Wow, Val, that's incredible. You're really making a name for yourself. Then, suddenly, she starts probing. So, what are you working on at Ellington? Anything exciting? Any new personal projects? Here it is, the fishing expedition. I feed her carefully constructed lies, vague descriptions of uninspired corporate projects, talk of creative blocks. I make myself sound dull, directionless. Oh, the usual. Nothing groundbreaking right now. Just trying to keep my head above water with the day job. Her eyes gleam with a flicker of something satisfaction. Pity? It's hard to tell with Valerie. I notice her phone angled on the table beside her. Is she recording me? Or is it just placed there? Paranoia is a new, unwelcome friend. No, wait. As I casually reach for my water glass, I see her thumb subtly swipe across the screen. She's not recording. She's photographing. My bag, my old canvas tote, the one I always carry my sketchbook in. It's peeking out from under my chair. She's trying to get a shot of it, probably hoping for a glimpse of what's inside. My heart thuds. She's already testing the waters. Excuse me, Val, just need to use the restroom, I say, standing up. This is my chance. I walk down the short hallway. Her bedroom door is slightly ajar. I know I shouldn't. It's risky, but the pull is too strong. I push it open a fraction more, peering inside. My breath catches in my throat. There, on her wall, is a mood board. Not just any mood board. It's filled with fabric swatches in deep jewel tones, silhouettes of flowing gowns, intricate beading patterns, elements that are alarmingly, sickeningly familiar. They're not identical to my stolen collection from the first timeline. Not yet. But they're close. Too close. These are the seeds of designs I remember her creating months, even years from now in that other life. She's already planning, already laying the groundwork. A cold fury washes over me. She hasn't changed. She never will. I quickly snap a few photos with my phone, my hands shaking. This is it, the first piece of concrete evidence. I flush the toilet for show, wash my hands, and compose myself before rejoining her. The smile I give her is brittle, but she doesn't seem to notice, too busy talking about her next brand trip. As I leave her apartment later that night, her parting words echo in my ears. So good to see you, Mia. We must do this again soon. And hey, if you ever need any, career advice, or want to bounce some ideas around, you know where I am. Oh, I know exactly where you are, Valerie. And this time, I'm watching every single move you make. The next morning, I'm a woman possessed. Valerie's mood board is burned into my memory. The game has started, and I'm already behind, even with my foreknowledge. My first call is to find an intellectual property lawyer. A quick online search brings up a list of firms. I need someone sharp, someone who won't dismiss me as a paranoid wannabe designer. The name Alexandra Diaz catches my eye. Her firm specializes in creative industries. Her bio mentions a few high-profile wins for independent artists. I book a consultation. Walking into Alexandra Diaz's office a few days later feels like stepping into a different world. It's sleek, modern, and intimidating. Alexandra herself is a whirlwind of controlled energy. Sharp suit, sharper eyes, and a no-nonsense aura that practically crackles. I lay out my story, not the rebirth part, of course. That would get me a referral to a psychiatrist, not a lawyer. I tell her about Valerie, our past friendship, my designs, and my fear that Valerie intends to steal my work. I show her the photos of Valerie's mood board. Alexandra listens intently, her expression unreadable. When I finish, she leans back in her chair, tapping a pen against her notepad. "Miss Reynolds," she says, her voice cool and measured. "What you're describing, idea theft, especially between former friends or collaborators, is unfortunately common in the creative world. However, proving it can be difficult. Ideas themselves are not protectable. It's the expression of those ideas that can be." "So what can I do?" I ask, trying to keep the desperation out of my voice. "Patents," she says, echoing my own discovery. "Design patents. They protect the ornamental design of a functional item. In fashion, that means the unique visual appearance of a garment or accessory." She explains the process, detailed drawings, precise descriptions, filing fees, waiting periods. It's not cheap and it's not quick, but it's the strongest protection you can get for original designs. She also talks about copyright for the sketches themselves as artistic works and the importance of documenting everything. Date your sketches. Keep detailed records of your design process, inspirations, material sourcing, everything. Get witnesses if possible, people who can attest to seeing your work and when they saw it. The cost, that's the elephant in the room. Alexandra lays it out, thousands of dollars per patent. And I have a whole collection in mind. My stomach sinks. I'm barely making ends meet on my Ellington salary. "I understand this is a significant investment," Alexandra says, noticing my expression. "But ask yourself, Miss Reynolds, what's the cost of not protecting your work if your fears are realized?" She's right. The cost of not protecting it was my entire life. I leave her office with a mountain of information and a burgeoning sense of dread mixed with determination. Alexandra was skeptical, I could tell, but she was also intrigued. She agreed to take me on, contingent on me providing meticulously prepared documentation for any patent applications. The next few weeks are a blur of activity. Every evening after my day job at Ellington, I'm hunched over my desk. I redraw my old designs, tweaking them, refining them, but also ensuring they retain their core essence, the essence Valerie found so appealing. I take photos of every sketch, time-stamped. I write detailed notes about my inspiration, my color choices, my fabric preferences. I save receipts for every art supply, every fashion magazine I use for research. I confide in Jordan Kim, a fellow junior designer at Ellington. Not about Valerie or the rebirth, just about the new collection I'm passionately working on in my spare time. Jordan is quiet, kind, and incredibly talented. He listens patiently as I ramble about my ideas, offering insightful suggestions and, crucially, becoming an unwitting witness. "Mia, this is stunning work," he says one evening, looking over a new set of sketches. "You should really show this to Mr. Ellington." "Not yet," I say. "It's not ready. And it needs to be mine, unequivocally mine, before anyone else of significance sees it." He often stays late with me in the studio, working on his own projects. I make sure he sees my progress, casually asking his opinion on a neckline or a sleeve detail. "What do you think of this, Jordan? For that evening gown concept I was talking about last week?" I'd ask, holding up a dated sketch. He'd offer thoughtful feedback, unknowingly cementing his role as someone who saw my designs develop over time. The documentation is growing, a fortress of evidence around my creativity. But the financial obstacle looms larger every day, thousands of dollars. It might as well be millions. How am I going to afford this? The clock is ticking. Valerie is out there scheming. I can feel it. The legal fees Alexandra quoted echo in my head constantly. Patenting a single design costs a small fortune. Patenting an entire collection? It's a sum that makes my hands sweat. My salary from Ellington barely covers rent and ramen, let alone a high-powered IP lawyer. I start moonlighting. Freelance illustration gigs, alterations for local boutiques, even helping a clueless tech bro design a revolutionary t-shirt line. It wasn't. Sleep becomes a luxury I can't afford. My days are spent at Ellington, trying to look competent, while my mind is a whirlwind of legal clauses and design details. My nights are a frantic race against the clock, fueled by caffeine and the terrifying knowledge of what's at stake. The exhaustion is brutal. There are days I stare at my sketchbook, the lines blurring, and the urge to just give up, to crawl into bed and let whatever happens happen, is almost overwhelming. What if I'm wrong? What if this rebirth is just a stress-induced hallucination? What if Valerie doesn't steal my designs this time and I'm bankrupting myself for nothing? But then I see her smug face in my mind's eye, hear the echo of the online trolls, feel the phantom sensation of the wind on that balcony. And the fire returns. No, I can't give up. Not this time. My savings account is a joke. My credit cards are already groaning under the weight of daily expenses. I need a significant injection of cash, and fast. My gaze falls upon my closet. Tucked away in dust bags on the top shelf is my one indulgence from my early days at Ellington, before I understood the true value of money. My small collection of vintage designer handbags. A classic Chanel flap. A buttery, soft Hermès Kelly I'd saved for over a year to buy secondhand. A quirky Judith Lieber clutch shaped like a cat. Each one has a story, a memory. They're my treasures. The thought hits me like a punch to the gut. Sell them. My heart constricts. These bags aren't just accessories, they're symbols of my passion for fashion, for craftsmanship, for the history of design. They were my inspiration, my connection to the icons I revered. I pull them down, laying them carefully on my bed. The aged leather of the Kelly, the satisfying click of the Chanel clasp. Letting them go feels like parting with pieces of myself. It's just stuff, Mia, I tell myself, my voice thick. Designs are your soul. These are just things. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels like a sacrifice, a painful, necessary sacrifice. The next day, I walk into a high-end consignment store, the bags nestled carefully in a protective carrier. The owner, a chic woman with an appraising gaze, examines each one. She names her prices. They're fair, but lower than I'd hoped. Lower than their sentimental value, certainly. I swallow hard. Okay, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. I'll sell them. Handing them over feels like a physical wrench. As I walk out of the store, the check clutched in my hand, there's a strange mixture of loss and fierce determination coursing through me. I've given up something I loved, something that represented my past dreams, but I've done it to fund my future, to fund my fight. This money isn't just cash, it's ammunition. It's the war chest for Mia Reynolds versus Valerie Chen, round 2. And this time, I'm armed. The image of Valerie's future runway show, filled with my patented designs, flashes in my mind. A small, grim smile touches my lips. Let her try. Just let her try. The money from the sale of my bag sits in my bank account, a tangible symbol of my commitment. Now the real work begins, finalizing the collection. Not just any collection, but the collection. The one Valerie will inevitably try to claim. I can't just recreate the designs from my first life. That would be playing into her hands, making her theft easier if any detail is missed in the patent. I need to be smarter. I need to make them undeniably, irrefutably mine. So I begin to iterate. I take the core concepts, the silhouettes Valerie found so irresistible, and I elevate them. I push the boundaries. I add distinctive, almost eccentric elements that are pure Mia Reynolds, details that reflect my unique design sensibility. Things Valerie, with her more mainstream, trend-driven eye, would never think of on her own. A recurring motif emerges. A subtle, stylized hummingbird, its wings forming an abstract M. It's not obvious, not something you'd notice at first glance. But once you see it, it's unmistakable. I work this hummingbird into the print of a silk scarf, the clasp of a belt, the embroidery on a lapel, even the lining of a structured jacket. It becomes my secret signature. Then I go further. Hidden details, elements only I would know to look for. A specific number of hand-stitched beads on a bodice, representing an important date. A particular way of folding a pleat that creates a unique shadow line. A seam allowance is finished with a contrasting thread color on the inside of certain garments, invisible to the eye, but a clear identifier if the piece was ever deconstructed. This isn't just about design anymore, it's about forensic fashion. Every stitch, every cut, is a potential piece of evidence. The work is grueling but exhilarating. I'm not just designing, I'm strategizing. I'm pouring all the pain, all the anger from my past life into this creative process. And something amazing happens. The designs become better, stronger, more innovative. Freed from the fear of failure that haunted my first attempt, fueled by this righteous fury, I'm creating my best work ever. This collection isn't just a trap for Valerie, it's a testament to my true potential. Jordan Kim remains my unwitting confidant. He sees the evolution of the designs, the passion I'm pouring into them. "Mia, you're on fire," he says one late night in the Ellington studio, looking at a sketch of a gown with an intricate, almost architectural bodice featuring my hummingbird motif. "This is beyond anything I've seen from you. It's art." His admiration is a balm to my weary soul. He doesn't know the full story, the darkness driving me, but his belief in my talent is genuine. It helps keep me going. I find myself looking forward to our late-night work sessions, his quiet presence a steady anchor in my turbulent life. There's an easy camaraderie between us, a shared understanding of the designer's struggle. Sometimes I catch him looking at me with an expression I can't quite decipher, a softness in his eyes. I quickly push those thoughts away. There's no room for romance, not now. My focus has to be singular. The collection is taking shape. Each piece is a landmine waiting for Valerie to step on it. And as I look at the completed sketches, a fierce pride swells within me. These aren't just clothes. They're my reclamation, my justice. With the designs finalized and meticulously documented, it's time to face Alexandra Diaz again. I walk into her office armed with a portfolio overflowing with sketches, technical drawings, fabric swatches, and dated records. Alexandra raises an eyebrow, clearly impressed by the sheer volume of material. "You've been busy, Miss Reynolds." "I have," I say, my voice firm. "I want to patent these, all of them, or at least the key pieces." We spend hours going through each design. Alexandra is exacting. She points out areas that need more precise illustration for the patent application, details that need clearer descriptions. "The patent office looks for novelty and non-obviousness," she explains. "Your hidden signatures are good. They help establish uniqueness." The process is painstaking. Filling out forms, writing detailed descriptions that translate visual design into dry legal language. Every word matters. Every line on the technical drawings has to be perfect. Alexandra and her team are thorough, but the ultimate responsibility for the accuracy of the design representation falls on me. The financial strain is immediate and intense. Each application fee, each hour of Alexandra's time, eats into the money from my handbag sale. I'm back to instant noodles and budget coffee, watching my bank balance dwindle with alarming speed. There are moments of panic, waking up in a cold sweat, wondering if I'm making a colossal mistake. What if the patents aren't approved? What if Valerie somehow outmaneuvers me anyway? The waiting period is agony. Weeks turn into months. Every email notification from Alexandra's office sends my heart leaping into my throat. Most are just requests for minor clarifications or updates on the process. "Patience, Mia," Alexandra advises during one of our check-in calls. "The USPTO is thorough. This takes time." Easy for her to say. She's not the one whose entire future hangs in the balance. Jordan notices my stress. "You okay, Mia?" he asks gently one day at Ellington. "You seem on edge." "Just a lot on my mind," I reply evasively. I wish I could confide in him, but I can't risk it. Not yet. Then, one rainy Tuesday afternoon, an email arrives. The subject line: "Patent application update. Good news." My hands tremble so violently I can barely click it open. I scan the formal language, my eyes searching for the crucial words. Pleased to inform you that design patent application number XXX for evening gown with hummingbird motif has been approved. Approved. A sob escapes me, raw and unrestrained. Tears stream down my face, blurring the words on the screen. Not tears of sadness this time, but of overwhelming, gut-wrenching relief. One by one, over the next few weeks, more approval notices trickle in. The structured jacket, the silk scarf, the tailored trousers with the unique pleat. My key pieces are protected. Officially. Legally. I break down in Alexandra's office when she gives me the final confirmation packet, the official patent certificates bound in a neat folder. She hands me a tissue, a rare, small smile on her face. Congratulations, Mia, you did it. Your designs are now legally yours. I clutch the folder to my chest like a shield. It's more than just paper. It's my armor, my weapon, my vindication. The cost was immense, the anxiety nearly crippling. But holding these documents, I know it was worth every penny, every sleepless night. Now I'm ready. Let Valerie Chen make her move. Just as I'm starting to breathe a little easier, feeling the solid ground of my patents beneath me, Valerie starts to escalate her presence in my life. It's subtle at first, a gradual insinuation. Mia, darling, I have this amazing idea, she trills over the phone one afternoon. My followers are always asking about up-and-coming designers. I should totally feature some of your work on my platform. It would be amazing exposure for you. My blood runs cold. Exposure. The same carrot she dangled before, the one that led me right into her trap. That's really generous of you, Val, I say, forcing enthusiasm into my voice. But my new collection isn't quite ready for the spotlight yet. Still tweaking things. Oh, don't be such a perfectionist, she laughs a little too brightly. Even just a sneak peek. My audience would eat it up. Think of the buzz. I manage to deflect, making vague promises for the future, but the attempts continue. She invites me to industry events, parties overflowing with influencers and fashion insiders. She introduces me with a proprietary air. This is my dear friend Mia Reynolds, such a talented designer. I've been mentoring her, you know. Mentoring me? I bite back a retort. She's positioning herself, building a narrative, the helpful, supportive friend guiding the lesser-known talent. It's sickeningly clever. I play along, navigating these events with a forced smile, all the while gathering information, observing who she's talking to, what she's saying. My phone becomes an extension of my hand, discreetly recording snippets of conversations, snapping photos of guest lists, anything that might be useful. The pressure is building. I can feel her circling, like a shark sensing blood in the water. She's impatient. Her own design ambitions are clearly growing, and she sees me, or rather my talent, as a shortcut. Then comes the industry mixer at a chic downtown hotel. Valerie is in her element, flitting from group to group, her laughter echoing. I'm trying to remain inconspicuous, nursing a glass of sparkling water when I see her deep in conversation with a group of men in expensive suits. Investors. I recognize one of them from a fashion business journal, a venture capitalist known for backing emerging influencer brands. I edge closer, pretending to admire a piece of art on the wall, straining to hear. And my upcoming collection, Valerie is saying, her voice filled with confidence. It's going to be a game changer. Totally fresh, innovative. We're projecting massive sales figures. This is the collection that will launch Valerie Chen Designs into a global brand. My stomach plummets. Her upcoming collection. She's talking about it already. She's seeking funding for it. In my original timeline, she didn't make her big move. Didn't launch her collection for almost another year and a half. But now the timeline is accelerating. My actions, perhaps my subtle deflections, my unavailability, might be making her more desperate, more impatient. Or maybe this was always her plan, and I just wasn't privy to the investor meetings last time. Panic, cold and sharp, pricks at me. Are my patents enough? Will they be enough if she launches sooner before I'm fully prepared for the legal battle? I need to talk to Alexandra immediately. Valerie spots me, her eyes narrowing for a split second before her signature bright smile clicks into place. Mia, there you are. Come, meet these lovely gentlemen. I was just telling them about the incredible pool of talent in our city. I manage a weak smile, my mind racing. The game is speeding up, and Valerie Chen is about to place her bet. The invitation arrives like a ticking bomb in my mailbox. Thick, creamy cardstock embossed with Valerie Chen designs in elegant gold script. It's for the launch of her debut fashion collection. The date is set for 3 weeks from now, far sooner than I anticipated, far sooner than in the other life. My heart hammers against my ribs. I know what I'm going to see. I know every stitch, every silhouette that will glide down that runway, or at least I think I do. The days leading up to the show are a blur of anxiety. I meet with Alexandra, showing her the invitation. This is it, I tell her. She's doing it. Are you ready? Alexandra asks, her gaze steady. As I'll ever be, I reply, though my insides are a knot of dread and anticipation. We run through the plan again. Document everything. Stay calm. Do not engage publicly. The night of the show, I choose my outfit carefully, something simple, understated. I'm not there to make a statement. I'm there to be a witness, a silent executioner. The venue is a trendy warehouse space in the meatpacking district, transformed into a fashionista's dream. Lights, music, champagne flowing freely. The air crackles with excitement and the scent of expensive perfume. Bloggers, influencers, editors, buyers. The whole industry food chain is here, eager to see what the great Valerie Chen has cooked up. I find my seat a few rows back and take it all in. The pre-show buzz, the hushed anticipation as the lights dim, the first thumping beats of the runway music. Then the first model steps out, and it's like a punch to the gut, even though I was expecting it, the dress. It's a soft, flowing chiffon in a deep amethyst, one of my signature colors. The silhouette is achingly familiar, a modified version of a gown from my patented collection. My hummingbird motif isn't there, not overtly, but the drape, the cut. It's undeniably derived from my work. Model after model follows. A tailored jacket with a distinctive asymmetrical collar. Trousers with a familiar, unique pleating detail. A silk blouse with a print that, while not identical, echoes the fluid lines of my hummingbird sketches. She's been clever. She's tweaked things, altered details, tried to muddy the waters, but the DNA is mine. The core essence of each piece screams Mia Reynolds. And in some, the hidden signatures I'd so carefully designed are subtly, almost mockingly present. A particular seam finish visible on a cuff as a model turns. The exact number of beads on a shoulder strap I'd documented in my patent. The audience is captivated. Oohs and ahs ripple through the crowd. Phones are held aloft, recording every look. Valerie's genius is being proclaimed before the final model has even left the runway. Unlike last time, I don't feel shock. I don't feel that soul-crushing despair. Instead, a cold, hard anger settles in my chest, and a strange sense of calm. This is exactly what I prepared for. I don't gasp, I don't cry. I methodically raise my own phone. Click, 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 every look, every detail. I zoom in on the seams, the embellishments. Each photo is another nail in her coffin. As I capture the images, I text them directly to Alexandra, each one timestamped by the network. Evidence, clear as day. Valerie herself appears for the finale, basking in the applause, looking every inch the triumphant designer. Her eyes scan the crowd, and for a horrifying second, they meet mine. There's a flicker of something. Surprise? No, it's more like smug acknowledgement. As if she knows I'm there, knows what I'm seeing, and she's daring me to do something. I hold her gaze, my expression unreadable. Then, I deliberately slowly take one more photo. Of her. Standing there, surrounded by my stolen glory. The show ends. The crowd erupts. I slip out before the mingling begins, before anyone can ask me what I thought. There will be time for my thoughts later. For now, I have work to do. The digital onslaught begins before I even make it home. My phone buzzes incessantly with notifications. Instagram, Twitter, fashion blogs. Valerie Chen's debut collection is an instant viral sensation. Valerie Chen stuns with innovative debut, a fresh new voice in fashion. The collection everyone will be talking about. The praise is universal, ecstatic. Influencers who were at the show are posting gushing selfies with Valerie, hailing her as a visionary. Pre-orders for Valerie Chen Originals are apparently crashing her newly launched website. I sit on my couch, the city lights casting long shadows across my small apartment, and watch it all unfold. It's like reliving a nightmare, but this time I'm awake, lucid, and armed. Flashbacks flicker, my phone, 2 years ago, exploding with hate. My name dragged through the mud, the crushing weight of public opinion turning against me, swift and brutal. That Mia was destroyed. This Mia is different. I resist the urge to scream, to post my own furious condemnations, to show the world my patent certificates. That's what she'd expect. That's what the old Mia would have done. Reacted emotionally, played right into Valerie's hands by looking like a jealous, hysterical nobody. No. This time, silence is my weapon. Strategy is my shield. I forward all the links, all the screenshots of the glowing reviews and the social media frenzy to Alexandra. Each one is another piece of the puzzle, demonstrating the scale of the infringement, the commercial success Valerie is already achieving with my work. And Alexandra calls me the next morning. The media blitz is intense, she says, her voice calm but serious. They're already branding her as the next big thing. I know, I say, my voice tight. What's our next move? We let her ride this wave for a few more days, Alexandra advises. Let her dig herself in deeper. Let the orders pile up. Let her commit fully to this narrative of her being the sole creator. Then we hit her with the cease and desist. And Mia, her voice firms, absolutely no public statements from you. Nothing on social media, not a word. Let her think you're crushed, defeated. Let her underestimate you. Underestimate me. That's exactly what I want. The silence is deafening, both online and in my own head. It's hard not to fight back immediately, not to scream the truth from the rooftops. But I trust Alexandra. I trust the plan. Valerie, meanwhile, is on a victory tour, interviews, podcasts, magazine spreads. She's everywhere, repeating her well-rehearsed story of how these designs came to her in a flash of inspiration, how they represent her unique journey. Each lie she tells is another thread in the net we're weaving. I watch, I wait, I document, and I prepare for the storm that's about to break. This time, I'm the one holding the lightning. A week after Valerie's triumphant show, while the internet is still buzzing and her pre-orders are likely through the roof, Alexandra gives the signal. It's time. The formal cease and desist letter is dispatched by courier to Valerie Chen Designs Inc. and emailed to her legal representatives, a team whose information Alexandra had diligently tracked down. The letter is polite, professional, and utterly devastating. It outlines my prior patent registrations for specific designs showcased in her collection, demands an immediate halt to all production, marketing, and sales of the infringing items, and requests a full accounting of all sales made to date. It also includes copies of my patent certificates. The silence from Valerie's end is immediate and profound. Her usually hyperactive social media goes quiet. No inspirational quotes, no behind-the-scenes glimpses of her design process. Then, 2 days later, my phone rings. It's an unknown number. I answer, my heart rate picking up. Hello? Mia, it's Valerie. Her voice is low, tight, stripped of its usual bubbly charm. It's the voice of a cornered animal. Valerie, I say, keeping my tone cool, neutral, just as Alexandra instructed. I got your lawyer's letter, she spits out. What the hell is this, Mia? What are you trying to pull? I think the letter is quite clear, Valerie. You're selling designs that are patented by me. Patented by you? A harsh, disbelieving laugh. Those are my designs. I've been working on them for months. You know that? Really? Because I have federal patent registrations dated well before your show, Valerie. Registrations that detail the exact unique elements you're claiming as your own. I keep my voice steady, devoid of emotion. There's a pause. I can almost hear the gears whirring in her head. This is a misunderstanding, she says, her tone shifting, becoming almost wheedling. A huge coincidence. We probably just had similar ideas. It happens in fashion all the time. You don't need to get lawyers involved, Mia. We can sort this out between us, like old times. Like old times, the audacity. This is beyond a sorting out situation, Valerie. I reply calmly. This is intellectual property theft, and it needs to stop. Her tone hardens again. You're really going to do this after everything, after our friendship? Our friendship? I almost laugh. What friendship, Valerie? The one where you build your career on my stolen work? You're making a big mistake, she snarls. My lawyers will bury you. I have a reputation. I have millions of followers. Who do you think they're going to believe? Some unknown, bitter nobody or me? The threat hangs in the air, the same threat that crushed me last time. But this Mia isn't the same. That's why I have patents, Valerie, I say, my voice like ice, and meticulously documented evidence. My lawyers are quite prepared. Are yours? I hear a sharp intake of breath on her end. Then the line goes dead. Later that evening, there's a furious pounding on my apartment door. I look through the peephole. It's Valerie. Her face is blotchy, her eyes wild. She looks nothing like the polished influencer on Instagram. I open the door, keeping the chain on. Let me in, Mia, she demands. I don't think that's a good idea, Valerie. You bitch, she screams, her voice cracking. You think you can do this to me? Ruin everything I've worked for? She alternates between threats and pleas. One minute she's warning me about the power of her fan base and her legal team. The next she's tearfully reminding me of our good times in fashion school, how much she always believed in me. You really think anyone will believe you over me? She cries, her face contorted. I have millions of followers, millions of people who love me. You're nobody. It's the same line she used on the phone, her trump card, her ultimate weapon. I look at her, this wreck of a person, so different from the composed predator I know her to be. And for the first time, I don't feel fear. I almost feel pity. Almost. That's why I have patents and documented evidence, Valerie. I repeat, my voice quiet but firm. Your followers can't argue with federal law. Her face falls. The fight seems to drain out of her, replaced by a dawning horror. She finally understands. I'm not the same naive girl she could steamroll. I'm prepared. I have irrefutable proof. She stares at me for a long moment, speechless. Then she turns and storms away, her expensive heels clattering angrily down the hallway. The warning shot has been fired, and it hit its mark. Valerie doesn't stay quiet for long. Her legal team sends a blustering response to Alexandra, denying all wrongdoing and accusing me of trying to extort money and trade on Valerie's hard-earned fame. Standard legal posturing, but Valerie knows the real battle isn't fought in legal letters, it's fought in the court of public opinion, and that's where she unleashes her full arsenal. Her social media explodes back to life, but this time with a carefully crafted victim narrative. She posts a tearful video, mascara smudged artfully, talking about how a former friend is trying to sabotage her success out of jealousy. She doesn't name me directly, but it's obvious who she means. I poured my heart and soul into this collection, she sobs to her millions of followers. It's a dream I've had for years, and now someone I once trusted is trying to tear it all down. Then come the old photos. Pictures of us from fashion school, smiling, arms around each other. Captions dripping with faux nostalgia and passive-aggressive digs. Throwback to simpler times when we supported each other's dreams. So sad how jealousy can corrupt people. Remember all those late nights we spent sharing our design ideas, Mia? I guess some people take inspiration too far. She's twisting the narrative, painting me as the opportunistic villain, the bitter ex-friend trying to ride her coattails. And her army responds. The DMs start flooding in, the hateful comments on my own dormant social media profiles. Gold digger, trying to get famous off Valerie's back. She shared her ideas with you, and now you're stabbing her in the back, you snake. Valerie is a true artist. You're just a jealous nobody. It's like a horrifying echo of my past life. The same accusations, the same venom. For a moment, the old fear, the old despair, threatens to overwhelm me. My hands shake as I scroll through the messages. It's hard not to let their words cut deep, even knowing they're based on lies. But this time, there's a difference. This time, I'm not alone. Don't read it, Mia, Alexandra tells me sternly over the phone. It's designed to intimidate you, to break you down. Don't let it. And then there's Jordan. He finds me in the Ellington break room, staring blankly at my phone. Another wave of hate messages having just arrived. Hey, he says softly, sitting down opposite me. I saw some of the Stuff online. About Valerie. I flinch, expecting him to back away to believe her. It's not true, Jordan, I whisper, my voice hoarse. He looks at me, his gaze steady and kind. I know. You do? I look up, surprised. Mia, I've seen you work. I've seen your sketches, your dedication for months. Those designs Valerie is showing? They have your fingerprints all over them, even if she's tried to smudge them a bit. I know your style. I know your talent. He pauses. And frankly, I never really trusted Valerie Chen as far as I could throw her. A small, watery smile touches my lips. Relief, so potent it almost makes me dizzy, washes over me. Someone believes me, someone who matters. Thank you, Jordan, I say, my voice thick with emotion. You have no idea how much that means to me. I'm on your side, Mia, he says simply. Whatever you need. His unwavering support is a lifeline in the storm of Valerie's online assault. He checks in on me, distracts me with talk of new fabric discoveries or ridiculous office gossip. He reminds me that not everyone is easily swayed by an influencer's crocodile tears. Valerie's social media offensive is brutal. She's painting a masterpiece of manipulation, but this time her canvas is built on a foundation of lies, and I have the truth, backed by law, ready to tear it all down. The hate messages still sting, but they don't break me. Because this time, I know the outcome will be different. She's striking first, yes, but I'm about to deliver the knockout blow. Valerie's public smear campaign and her lawyer's refusal to acknowledge the patents leave us with no choice. She's not going to back down, Alexandra says, her voice grim after another fruitless exchange with Valerie's counsel. She clearly thinks she can bully her way through this with her influencer status. We need to escalate. So we file the lawsuit? I ask, my stomach tightening. It's one thing to send letters and have tense phone calls. It's another to formally sue someone, to drag this into the public record, into a courtroom. We file the lawsuit, Alexandra confirms Hans, for patent infringement. We'll seek an injunction to stop her sales, damages for the profits she's already made from your designs, and a public retraction. The decision weighs heavily on me, but it's the only path forward. Valerie has forced my hand. The complaint is filed in federal court, Mia Reynolds versus Valerie Chen Designs, Inc. The moment the news breaks, it's like throwing a match into a tinderbox. Unknown designer sues influencer empire over stolen designs. Patent battle rocks fashion world, Mia Reynolds claims Valerie Chen copied her collection. The media frenzy is instantaneous and intense. Fashion blogs, industry publications, even some mainstream news outlets pick up the story. My name, Mia Reynolds, is suddenly everywhere. Not as a nobody, but as the designer taking on the powerful Valerie Chen. Predictably, Valerie's fans go into overdrive, defending their queen, attacking me with renewed ferocity. But something else starts to happen too, skepticism. With the lawsuit being public record, the existence of my patents can no longer be denied or ignored. Fashion bloggers, the serious ones, start doing their own investigations. They compare my patent drawings, which Alexandra strategically includes as exhibits in the lawsuit, with the photos from Valerie's runway show. Side by side, are Valerie Chen's designs copied? One headline reads, "The Reynolds patents versus the Chen collection, you be the judge." Slowly, tentatively, some commentators begin to notice the undeniable similarities, the coincidences that seem a little too convenient for Valerie. The narrative isn't quite so black and white anymore. Doubt is a powerful seed. The financial strain, however, becomes almost unbearable. Filing a federal lawsuit is astronomically expensive. Retainers, filing fees, expert witness consultations. My savings, even bolstered by the handbag sale, are hemorrhaging. I max out my credit cards. I take out a personal loan I have no idea how I'll repay if I lose. There are dark nights when I lie awake, staring at the ceiling, the weight of the debt and the stress crushing me. What if I lose? What if Valerie's high-powered legal team finds some loophole? What if the jury is swayed by her celebrity? I'll be ruined, financially and professionally, beyond any hope of recovery. This time, there would be no magical rebirth. Valerie's lawyers, sensing my financial vulnerability, extend a settlement offer. It's insulting. A pittance, barely enough to cover my legal fees, and it comes with a non-disclosure agreement that would gag me from ever speaking about this again. I would have to remain silent while she continued to build her brand on my work, albeit perhaps with some minor modifications to the current collection. You should consider it, Mia, Alexandra advises gently, though I can tell she doesn't like it either. Litigation is expensive and unpredictable. This is a way out. A way out. But at what cost? My silence? My integrity? Letting Valerie win, even partially? I think of the balcony, of the utter despair, of the wish for truth. No, I tell Alexandra, my voice shaking but firm. No settlement. Not if it means I have to be silent. This isn't just about money anymore. It's about the truth. It's about my name. I'm seeing this through to the end. Alexandra looks at me for a long moment, then nods slowly. All right, Mia, then we fight. The lawsuit is a declaration of war. There's no turning back now. I've bet everything on this. My future, my finances, my sanity. But as the initial media storm rages, and the first small voices of doubt about Valerie begin to emerge, a tiny spark of hope ignites within me. Maybe, just maybe, the truth will prevail. The lawsuit moves into the discovery phase. This is where things get gritty, where both sides are legally obligated to turn over relevant documents, communications, and evidence. It's a slow, meticulous process orchestrated by Alexandra and her team, but it's where the real secrets often hide. We're looking for the smoking gun, Mia, Alexandra explains, or more likely, a series of smoking bullets that create an undeniable pattern. Our first major breakthrough comes from Valerie's own records. Her lawyers try to stonewall, to drown us in irrelevant paperwork, but Alexandra is relentless. Eventually, they are compelled to produce text messages and emails between Valerie and her manufacturers, and there it is, dates, timestamps. Messages from Valerie to her factory manager, sent after the dinner party where she photographed my sketchbook, after I'd accidentally left her bedroom door ajar, revealing my early mood board. Messages with attachments, crude sketches that are clearly panicked, rushed interpretations of my designs, frantic instructions to tweak this neckline, change that fabric but keep the drape, make it look like mine but not too much like hers. It's a damning trail. It shows her intent, her deliberate effort to copy and conceal. She was sloppy, Alexandra says with grim satisfaction, poring over the printouts. She thought she was too big to get caught. But the discovery process unearths something even more disturbing. As we depose former employees and interns from Valerie's burgeoning empire, a pattern of behavior emerges. It turns out I'm not the first designer Valerie Chen has allegedly stolen from. A tearful former intern describes how Valerie took credit for a marketing campaign concept she'd developed. Another young designer, a classmate from a summer program years ago, recounts how Valerie borrowed her portfolio and then, weeks later, similar design elements appeared in a small contest Valerie won. These stories were never pursued. The individuals were too intimidated, too lacking in resources to fight her. She's a serial plagiarist, I whisper, horrified and yet grimly validated. She's built her entire image on other people's talent. It certainly appears that way, Alexandra says. And while these past instances may not be directly admissible in our patent case, they paint a picture of her character, her modus operandi. It could be relevant if she tries to claim independent creation. The evidence is mounting. My case is getting stronger with each revelation. Valerie, through her lawyers, starts to panic. The settlement offers increase. First, a more substantial sum, enough to make a real difference to my financial situation. Then, an even larger one, coupled with a vague public statement about creative coincidences and mutual respect. Alexandra lays the offers before me. This is serious money, Mia. Enough to walk away from this, start fresh, launch your own line without the debt. You need to think carefully. And I do. The temptation is immense. The thought of ending the stress, the public scrutiny, the financial drain is incredibly alluring. I could take the money, disappear from this drama, and finally build the career I dreamed of. But then I picture Valerie smirking, having bought her way out of trouble, free to do it again to someone else. I picture her fans still believing her lies. I picture my name, forever vaguely tainted by her accusations, even if I win a settlement that requires my silence on the truth of her theft. No, I tell Alexandra again, my resolve hardening. This isn't about money anymore. It's about accountability. She needs to be exposed for what she is. I want my day in court. Alexandra studies me, a flicker of something akin to pride in her eyes. You're sure, Mia? There's no guarantee with a jury. I'm sure, I say. Let's go to trial. Valerie's offers are rejected. The battle lines are drawn. The discovery process has armed me not just with evidence, but with a deeper understanding of my adversary. She's not just a thief, she's a predator. And I'm determined to stop her. The courthouse is a monolith of gray stone and imposing columns, a fitting backdrop for the drama about to unfold. Media vans line the street outside. Photographers jostle for position, their lenses like hungry eyes. Fashion bloggers, legal correspondents, and curious onlookers create a buzz that hums with anticipation. This isn't just a patent dispute, it's a public spectacle. Mia Reynolds versus Valerie Chen. David versus Goliath with a couture twist. My anxiety is a live thing, coiling in my stomach. My hands are clammy. Alexandra by my side is an oasis of calm professionalism. Deep breaths, Mia, she murmurs as we navigate the throng. We're prepared. You know your truth. Just stick to it. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere is hushed but charged. Rows of polished wood benches, the stern face of the judge, the jury box waiting to be filled. Valerie is already there, seated at the opposing table with her team of expensive-looking lawyers. She's dressed impeccably, her expression carefully composed, a mask of serene confidence. She avoids my gaze. The jury selection process is tense. Alexandra and Valerie's lead counsel, a slick, silver-haired man named Marcus Thorne, question potential jurors, looking for any hint of bias. Eventually, 12 men and women are chosen. Their faces are inscrutable. They hold my future in their hands. Opening arguments. Alexandra is first. She walks the jury through the timeline, her voice clear and compelling. She speaks of creativity, of innovation, of the legal right to protect one's original work. She introduces my patents, displaying enlargements of the official documents, the detailed drawings. She shows side-by-side comparisons of my patented designs and the items from Valerie's collection, pointing out the striking similarities, the hidden signatures I'd so carefully embedded. This case, Alexandra concludes, her eyes sweeping across the jury, is about more than just dresses and handbags. It's about integrity. It's about whether a person can build an empire on the stolen creativity of another. We will show you through clear and irrefutable evidence that Valerie Chen did just that. She took Mia Reynolds' original patented designs and passed them off as her own. Then it's Marcus Thorne's turn. He's smooth, charismatic. He paints Valerie as a visionary, a hardworking entrepreneur, a beloved public figure. He dismisses my claims as the bitter actions of a jealous former friend, someone trying to cash in on Valerie's success. Miss Reynolds is an opportunist, Thorne declares, his voice dripping with disdain. She sees Valerie Chen's rising star and wants a piece of it. This lawsuit is nothing more than a shakedown, a desperate attempt to gain fame and fortune at Miss Chen's expense. We will demonstrate that Valerie Chen's collection is the product of her own unique talent and tireless effort, and that any similarities to Miss Reynolds' alleged designs are either coincidental or the result of common fashion trends. His words are like barbs trying to pierce my composure. I keep my expression neutral, staring straight ahead just as Alexandra instructed. The first few days of the trial are a blur of technicalities. Expert witnesses debating the nuances of patent law, the definition of ornamental design. My patent documentation, my dated sketches, my detailed records of the design process are entered into evidence. Each piece is a brick in the wall of my case. Thorne's cross-examinations are aggressive. He tries to portray me as disorganized, inexperienced, someone who couldn't possibly have conceived of such sophisticated designs on her own. He questions the dates on my sketches, implies I could have backdated them, but Alexandra has prepared me. I answer calmly, clearly, sticking to the facts. My documentation is meticulous, almost unassailable. The timestamps on my digital files, the dated entries in my design journals, Jordan Kim's future testimony about seeing my work evolve. It all corroborates my timeline, and the pressure is immense. Every night I go home exhausted, my mind replaying every question, every answer. Jordan is my rock, offering quiet encouragement, making sure I eat, reminding me to breathe. The battle is joined. The courtroom is our arena, and the first blows have been struck. The day Valerie Chen takes the stand, the courtroom is packed. Spectators lean forward in their seats, eager for the main event. Valerie walks to the witness box with an air of practiced grace, dressed in a chic, understated suit, no doubt carefully chosen to project an image of professionalism and seriousness. She smiles faintly at the jury, a picture of poised confidence. Under direct examination by her lawyer, Marcus Thorne, Valerie is charming, articulate, and utterly convincing. She recounts her lifelong passion for fashion, her journey as an influencer, the inspiration behind her debut collection. She speaks of late-night sketching, of poring over fabric swatches, of the intensely personal process of bringing her vision to life. "These designs came from my heart," she says, her voice tinged with emotion, her eyes glistening. "They are a reflection of who I am." She claims any similarities to my work are purely coincidental, a result of shared cultural influences or common interpretations of current trends. She even suggests that I might have been inspired by her early vague social media posts about her design aspirations. The audacity is breathtaking. Then it's Alexandra's turn to cross-examine. Alexandra starts gently, lulling Valerie into a false sense of security. She asks about her design process, her inspirations, her timeline. Valerie answers smoothly, her story well-rehearsed. But Alexandra is like a skilled surgeon, methodically dissecting Valerie's testimony, looking for the smallest inconsistency, the slightest crack in her facade. "Miss Chen," Alexandra says, her voice sharpening slightly, "you testified that you began conceptualizing this specific collection in early 2019, correct?" "That's right," Valerie affirms, "and that your design process was entirely independent, not influenced by anyone else's specific, unpublished work?" "Absolutely," Valerie says, a hint of indignation in her tone. Alexandra then produces Valerie's text messages to her manufacturer, the ones dated shortly after she'd seen my sketches. "Miss Chen, can you explain this message sent on November 2nd, 2018, where you instruct your manufacturer to look at these new ideas and include attachments that bear a striking resemblance to Miss Reynolds' sketches, which Miss Reynolds testified you saw in October 2018? Valerie pales slightly. I I may have seen some of Mia's early scribbles. We were friends, we shared ideas vaguely. But my final designs are entirely my own." "Scribbles, Miss Chen?" Alexandra presses. "Miss Reynolds' detailed sketches, which you photographed from her bag at dinner, and the mood board elements you were already assembling, those are scribbles?" Valerie flusters. I don't recall specifics. It was a long time ago." Her composure is starting to fray. Alexandra moves on to the hidden signatures. She projects an image of one of my patented designs, a jacket, highlighting the unique, almost invisible internal seam finishing. Then, she asks for the actual jacket from Valerie's collection, which was entered as evidence, to be shown to Valerie. "Miss Chen, can you explain why this jacket from your collection, which you claim is your original design, contains this highly unusual internal seam finishing, identical to the one detailed in Miss Reynolds' patent, a detail that has no functional purpose and isn't visible from the outside?" Valerie stares at the jacket, then at Alexandra, her eyes wide. She has no explanation. "It must be a manufacturing choice. I don't oversee every single stitch." "Really?" Alexandra raises an eyebrow. "You, the meticulous designer who pours her heart into every detail, delegates such unique construction choices without knowledge or approval?" The blows keep landing. Alexandra confronts Valerie with the timeline discrepancies, with the suspicious similarities that go far beyond trend. With her own incriminating texts, the key dramatic moment comes when Alexandra presents enlarged copies of Valerie's panicked messages to her manufacturer, the ones where she's clearly trying to alter my designs just enough to avoid detection. "Miss Chen, in this message you state, make sure the hummingbird design is gone, but keep that flowing sleeve. We need it to look different enough from M's stuff, but still have that vibe." "Who is M, Miss Chen, and what stuff are you referring to?" Valerie is trapped. Her face flushes a dark red. She stammers, tries to deflect, but the evidence is damning. The carefully constructed image of the serene original artist shatters. On the stand, under oath, confronted with her own words, Valerie Chen loses her composure. I I may have been inspired, she finally admits, her voice barely a whisper. But I didn't steal anything? The word inspired hangs in the air, heavy and unconvincing. The jury watches, their expressions unreadable, but the tension in the courtroom is palpable. Valerie's confident facade has crumbled, revealing the desperate, deceitful core beneath. Valerie's disastrous performance on the stand is a turning point. The cracks in her public image widen into chasms. Fashion journalists who had initially been swayed by her charm or intimidated by her influencer status begin to publish articles with a more critical tone. They dissect her testimony, compare it against the evidence Alexandra presented. Headlines like "Chen Under Fire, Designer's Testimony Raises More Questions Than Answers," and "The Case of the Inspired Collection, Did Valerie Chen Commit Perjury?" start appearing. The mood on social media also begins to shift. While her die-hard fans remain loyal, a growing number of users express doubt, even outrage. Comment sections on fashion blogs are filled with debates. #Valerie Chen stole and #Justice for Maya Reynolds start trending, albeit on a smaller scale than Valerie's initial PR blitz. Then, something unexpected happens. Bolstered by the public nature of the trial and Valerie's obvious unraveling, former interns and colleagues who had previously been too scared to speak out begin to come forward. Not to the court necessarily, but to journalists. Anonymous sources at first, then a few brave souls willing to go on the record, share their own stories of Valerie taking credit for their ideas, their work. A well-respected fashion industry whistleblower site publishes a lengthy exposé detailing multiple instances of Valerie's alleged plagiarism, dating back to her early days. It corroborates the stories Alexandra's team had uncovered during discovery. The narrative of Valerie as a brilliant innovator is rapidly being replaced by the image of a calculated serial copycat. Valerie's social media engagement plummets. Brands that had previously clamored for collaborations quietly distance themselves. The empire she built on smoke and mirrors is starting to shake. For me, this shift is both vindicating and terrifying. The public spotlight is intense. I'm no longer an anonymous plaintiff. I'm the face of this fight. Alexandra encourages me to give a single, carefully managed interview to a reputable fashion journalist known for her integrity. "It's time for people to hear your voice, Mia," Alexandra says. "Not as a victim, but as a designer fighting for her rights." I agree, though the thought of it makes me sick with nerves. In the interview, I speak not just about my case, but about the broader issue of creative ownership, the vulnerability of young designers, the importance of protecting one's intellectual property. I talk about my passion for design, the years of hard work that go into creating something original. I don't badmouth Valerie. I let the facts of the case speak for themselves. The interview is well received. It shows a different side of me, not the bitter opportunist Thorne tried to paint, but a determined, articulate professional. I find my voice not just as a designer, but as an advocate. The trauma of my past life, the pain of Valerie's betrayal, is being transmuted into strength. The trial continues, but the momentum has clearly shifted. Valerie's legal team seems flustered, their attempts to discredit me and my evidence falling flat. The atmosphere in the courtroom is different. The jury seems more attentive when Alexandra speaks, more skeptical during Thorne's arguments. The tide has turned, and it's flowing decisively in my favor. The closing arguments are a final dramatic showdown. Marcus Thorne, desperate, tries to sow doubt, to appeal to emotion, to paint Valerie as a victim of a misunderstanding, a target of ambition. He reiterates that fashion is about inspiration, that ideas are free-flowing, that my patents are overly broad attempts to monopolize common design elements. Then Alexandra delivers her closing. She is calm, methodical, powerful. She walks the jury through the evidence one last time. My patents, legally binding and predating Valerie's collection. Valerie's own incriminating text messages and emails. The undeniable similarities in the designs, including the hidden signatures that Valerie couldn't explain. Valerie's disastrous, contradictory testimony. The evidence is overwhelming, Alexandra states, her gaze fixed on the jury. Valerie Chen knowingly, willfully, and systematically infringed upon Mia Reynolds' patented designs. She built her launch, her brand, her budding empire on a foundation of theft. Today, you have the power to right that wrong, to affirm that creativity deserves protection, to deliver justice for Mia Reynolds. The judge gives his instructions to the jury. They file out. The wait begins. Hours pass. The courtroom is quiet, filled with a tense, almost unbearable silence. I sit with Alexandra, my hands clasped tightly in my lap. Jordan is in the public gallery, his eyes offering silent support. Every tick of the clock is an eternity. My mind races through every possible outcome, and then a buzz. The jury has reached a verdict. My heart leaps into my throat. This is it. My entire life, both of them, feels like it has been leading to this single moment. The jury files back in, their faces unreadable. The foreperson, a middle-aged woman, hands a slip of paper to the bailiff, who gives it to the judge. The judge reads it, his expression impassive. He hands it back to the foreperson. In the matter of Mia Reynolds versus Valerie Chen Designs, Inc., the foreperson begins, her voice clear in the silent room. On the count of patent infringement regarding design patent CK6 for evening gown with hummingbird motif, how do you find? A pause that stretches for an eon. We find for the plaintiff, Mia Reynolds. A gasp escapes my lips. Tears spring to my eyes. Plaintiff, that's me. The foreperson continues reading through each count, each patented design. On the count of patent infringement regarding design patent YY for structured jacket with asymmetrical collar, how do you find? We find for the plaintiff, Mia Reynolds. On the count of patent infringement regarding design patent ZZZZZ for silk scarf with avian print, how do you find? We find for the plaintiff, Mia Reynolds. Again and again for every key design, we find for the plaintiff, Mia Reynolds. Liable, Valerie Chen Designs, Inc. is liable for copyright infringement. A wave of emotion so powerful it almost buckles me, washes over. Vindication, relief, triumph. A flashback, sharp and vivid. Me standing on that cold balcony, the city lights blurring through tears, the utter hopelessness. And then this moment. The polar opposite. The affirmation of truth. The reclamation of my work, my name, my life. The judge announces the damages, a substantial sum based on Valerie's profits from the infringing collection, and, crucially, an injunction. Valerie Chen Designs is ordered to immediately cease all sales of the infringing items and to issue a public acknowledgement of the infringement. Valerie ishin-faced, her carefully constructed composure finally shattering completely. She stares blankly ahead, then abruptly stands and, ignoring her lawyer's attempt to restrain her, storms out of the courtroom, refusing to comment to the press who swarm around her. I am crying openly now, tears of joy, of release. Alexandra puts a hand on my arm, her own eyes shining. You did it, Mia, she says, her voice thick with emotion. You did it. Jordan rushes forward from the gallery, his face beaming. He pulls me into a hug, and I cling to him, a lifetime of pain and struggle finally, blessedly over. The truth is out. I won. The verdict sends shockwaves through the fashion industry and the influencer world. Mia Reynolds wins landmark patent case against Valerie Chen. The headlines are definitive. Valerie, true to form, initially tries to spin the narrative. Her PR team issues a statement talking about disappointment with the verdict and exploring appeal options. But the tide of public opinion has irrevocably turned against her. The evidence presented at trial is too compelling, her own testimony too damaging. A few days later, a half-hearted lawyer-vetted apology appears on Valerie Chen Designs' Instagram page, a bland statement acknowledging the court's decision and expressing regret for any unintentional similarities. It's followed by an announcement that Valerie is taking a hiatus from public life to reflect and regroup. Her online store goes dark. Her empire, built on my stolen dreams, crumbles. For me, the aftermath is a whirlwind, but this time a positive one. My phone rings off the hook, not with hate, but with messages of support, congratulations, and admiration. Designers, industry veterans, even some of the bloggers who had initially supported Valerie reach out. Job offers flood in. Major design houses, independent labels, even companies looking to collaborate. The unknown designer is suddenly very known. The story of my fight, my meticulous preparation, my refusal to back down has resonated with people. But more importantly than the professional opportunities, there's a sense of peace, of closure. The heavy weight I'd carried for so long, in 2 lifetimes, has finally been lifted. Jordan is by my side through it all. His quiet, steady support has been my anchor. One evening, as the media frenzy begins to die down, we're sharing a celebratory and finally affordable dinner. You know, Mia, he says, his eyes serious but warm, watching you go through all this, you're the strongest person I know. He reaches across the table, taking my hand. And I've developed some pretty strong feelings for you. My heart skips a beat. Looking at him, at his kind face, his genuine smile, I realize that somewhere amidst the legal battles and the emotional turmoil, my feelings for him have grown too. He saw me at my worst, believed in me when few others did, and celebrated my victory as if it were his own. I have feelings for you too, Jordan, I admit, a shy smile spreading across my face. It feels like a new beginning in more ways than one. Alexandra, ever the pragmatist, advises me to capitalize on the momentum. You have a name now, Mia, a story, and most importantly, a collection of incredible patented designs that the world is curious about. Don't let this moment pass. This is your time to launch your own line. Her words spark an idea, a dream I'd almost forgotten I had. My own label, not just as a designer for someone else, but as Mia Reynolds, creator, owner, visionary. The thought is both terrifying and exhilarating. The damages awarded by the court, once paid, will provide the seed money. I have my designs. I have my name. And now, I have the chance to build something truly my own, on my own terms. The nightmare is over. A new dream is just beginning. 1 year later, the air backstage is electric. A chaotic symphony of hurried footsteps, hushed whispers, the rustle of fabric and the scent of hairspray. I take a deep breath, trying to calm the butterflies doing acrobatic flips in my stomach. This is it, the launch of Mia Reynolds Atelier, my first official collection, my debut show. I walk through the racks of garments, my fingers brushing against the silks, the intricate beadwork, the perfectly tailored wools. These are the designs that almost never existed, the designs that were stolen, then reclaimed, the designs that carry the ghosts of my past and the hopes for my future. My hummingbird motif is there, discreetly gracing collars and cuffs, a symbol of resilience and rebirth. A montage of images flashes through my mind, the despair on that cold balcony in my first life, the shock of waking up in the past, Valerie's smug face on that runway showcasing my work, the long nights spent sketching, documenting, fueled by coffee and a desperate hope, the relief of the patent approvals and the tension of the courtroom, Alexandra's fierce advocacy, the triumphant, tearful moment of the verdict, Jordan's unwavering hand in mine. It's been a journey, a battle fought on multiple fronts, but I'm here. I made it. 5 minutes, Miss Reynolds, a stage manager calls out. Jordan finds me, his eyes shining with pride. He hands me a small velvet box. Inside is a delicate silver necklace with a tiny hummingbird charm. For luck, he says, his voice soft. Though you don't need it. You're going to be amazing. He leans in and kisses me, a sweet, reassuring promise. I step out from behind the curtain into the blinding lights to take my seat. My own show, my own terms. The music swells, the first model walks. The collection is a success. The audience is captivated. The critics are laudatory. As the final model exits and I step onto the runway to take my bow, the applause is deafening. It washes over me, a wave of validation, of pure, unadulterated joy. My eyes scan the cheering crowd, a sea of faces, and then I see her. Standing at the very back, almost hidden in the shadows, is Valerie Chen. She's thinner, her face harder, the famous sparkle in her eyes dulled. She's not smiling. She's just watching me, her expression unreadable. Our eyes meet for a fleeting second across the crowded room. A spark of something, recognition, resentment, regret, passes between us. Then she turns and slips away, disappearing into the darkness as quickly as she appeared. A shiver runs down my spine. Some things I realize have changed completely. My life is my own again. My future is bright, but some rivalries, some connections, however toxic, might just be inevitable, echoing across timelines. But this time, I'm not afraid. This time, I'm ready. 2 years after my debut, Mia Reynolds Atelier is thriving. My studio, a bright, airy space in the heart of the fashion district, is a hive of creative energy. I'm no longer just a designer, I'm a mentor, a business owner, a voice in the industry. I make it a point to work with young, emerging designers, sharing not just my creative knowledge, but also the hard-won lessons about protecting their work, about the business of fashion. I guest lecture at fashion schools, telling my story, the sanitized version, of course, omitting the rebirth, emphasizing the crucial importance of intellectual property. Your creativity is your most valuable asset, I tell them. Guard it fiercely. Jordan and I are building a life together, our partnership extending beyond the personal into the professional. He's become an invaluable part of my company, his calm strength and brilliant design eye complementing my own. Life is good. It's more than good. It's a testament to second chances, to the power of rewriting your own story. I often think about that other Mia, the one who stood on the balcony. I hope wherever she is, she knows we found justice. One crisp autumn morning, I'm flicking through a fashion trade magazine in my office, and there, on the cover, is a face I know all too well, Valerie Chen. The headline reads, "The Comeback, Valerie Chen Reinvents Herself." The article details her journey of reflection, her newfound respect for authenticity, and the launch of her deeply personal new venture, a sustainable, ethically sourced lifestyle brand. There's no mention of fashion design. I stare at her image, the familiar, perfectly styled hair, the carefully curated smile. For a moment, a flicker of the old tension, the old wariness stirs within me. But then it's gone, replaced by a calm, quiet determination. She's out there. She's trying again. Maybe she's changed. Maybe she hasn't. It doesn't matter, because this time Mia Reynolds is ready for whatever comes next. My patents are in place, my legal team is on standby, and my spirit is unbreakable. Let her try. This time, I'm not just a designer, I'm a survivor, and I know how to fight. I close the magazine and turn back to my own designs, a new idea already sparking in my mind. The future is mine to create, and it's going to be beautiful,